Absolute Batman has been on a generational run. I mean, between Bane and Killer Croc, my guy has basically been running the Elden Ring boss gauntlet. But then I saw what Absolute Poison Ivy looked like, and I immediately had to read this comic. So the issue starts with Poison Ivy as a kid, taking a trip with her mom to this place called the Heart of Gotham City. And right away we learn something important. Ivy's mother is sick. Then the comic cuts to a GCPD officer on patrol. He steps in something, looks down, and shines his flashlight on the ground, and bro immediately regrets it because the entire floor is covered in these disgusting alien looking egg sacs, and bro is so grossed out he doesn't even notice something standing right behind him until it's too late. One touch and Ivy infects him instantly. Now we cut to the heart of Gotham again, but this time it's completely overrun by nature. Plants, vines, and overgrowth are everywhere, and suddenly a chainsaw bursts out of the jungle because of course Batman is at ground zero, literally cutting his way through this nightmare. And I'm not even gonna lie, Batman looks like freaking Chainsaw Man fused with Broly. So while Bruce is carving through this jungle, Alfred is on comms telling him the situation is way worse than expected. The air is heavily contaminated and the GCPD is already moving in with mobile sonic cannon gun thingies. I have eyes on the officers. That's not possible. Maybe that stuff in the air is... I'm looking right at them. And I'm looking right at the police scans. There are no human signatures on our floor or any floor near it. Whatever you're looking at, they are not people. Not anymore. Bro, they didn't put in an ounce of work. The GCPD are free, bro. They barely made it past the freaking entrance. So now we jump back a week earlier. Bruce is dealing with the fallout after Bane ran through his entire crew and now his friends are distant. Everything feels fractured and Bruce is honestly struggling with what Batman is even supposed to be anymore. But back in the present, things get way worse. These plant zombies start coming out of the forest, moving fast and completely feral. And right after Alfred tells Bruce to keep that mask on, that junk gets ripped clean off. So now Batman is fighting through these mutants while trying not to get infected. He barely manages to wrap his cape around his face before the spores hit him. And while all this is happening, he tells Alfred to look up one particular name, Pamela Isley. As Batman pushes deeper into the jungle, we start getting more of Poison Ivy's origin. Pamela spent years trying to cure her mother's illness. At first she experimented with plant cells, trying to create some kind of biological cure, but eventually that wasn't enough. She started experimenting with all 6 kingdoms of life. Plants, animals, insects, everything. And at the same time, we see Bruce in his own routine. He regularly visits the man who murdered his father. But this week, something changes. Joe Chill refuses to see him. He doesn't even want to face the kid whose life he destroyed. And Bruce is furious. I mean, I don't blame him, bro. But cutting back to the present, Chainsaw Batman is back in action, slicing through more mutated plant monsters until suddenly this freaky bird creature dives in after him out of nowhere. But Batman makes quick work of it, hitting him with the bat bomb. Then Alfred drops his own bombshell. According to every record he could find, Pamela Isley is dead.
Are you sure?
Right after that, Batman runs into Officer Barbara Gordon. She tells him that she got separated from the GCPD officers that he fought earlier, and she even asked for his help in stopping Ivy. But Bruce, this man Bruce is on demon time. He takes her equipment and straight pushes her off a cliff. But relax, he at least threw her a parachute. So Batman keeps moving until he finds something insane, a giant face growing out of the ground. And Bruce basically tells it to stay out of his way. And meanwhile, in the past, we see the real thing that stood in Ivy's way. The corporate backers funding her research. These greedy boomers only cared about one thing, how much money they could make from her discoveries.
They're trying to stop me, but I won't let them. I'm too close now. A cure for so much, I think of my mother, full of tubes yellowing on a pillow that crunches like dead leaves. My sponsors, though, all they want to do is divide up each discovery, individuate, separate old men who only think of what my work can do for them.
In this version of Poison Ivy, she looks incredible, but this is only her first form. Back in the present, she finally appears in front of Bruce, and as she restrains him with vines, she tells him nothing here is meant to harm him.
Are you sure?
And she also starts talking about change. But Bruce isn't trying to hear all that, as he activates a hidden flamethrower and lights the whole place up. The fire engulfs Ivy, and the flames remind her of the first time she died, because that fire was no accident. It was caused by the same men who tried to profit off her research. The blast nearly killed her, leaving nothing but her heart reserved in a jar. It's actually more powerful than anybody ever imagined, which is exactly why this fight gets even worse, because Ivy suddenly spawns 6 or 7 shadow clone baddies surrounding Batman. They tell him to give up and let go, but Bruce basically says, nah, y'all ain't real, and that sentence then spawns the true final boss. This design is insane. Absolute Ivy gets a 10 out of 10 in character designs. I hope more comic book writers take inspiration from this Poison Ivy. I mean, even Batman pauses for a couple of seconds when he first sees her, but before he can react, Poison Ivy straight jump scares this man. Then these thick Ivy shadow clones rush at him as he puts belt to ass. Alfred tries desperately to find a weakness, but there isn't one. This version of Poison Ivy has fused with plant cells, animal cells, and insect DNA. Alfred literally cannot find a flaw in her biology. Then we see what happened after the fire that nearly killed her. Those same corrupt men tried to erase everything she had done, but instead, they created something way worse. All that survived was her heart, and that heart becomes the center of everything she is now, which is why she's powerful enough to do some crazy, insane things with her powers, like even cut off Batman's comms with Alfred through using various different bird calls and other weird things like that. And now Ivy tries to convince Bruce to embrace what he was always meant to be. She believes she can evolve him into something better, even if she has to do it by force.
I'll take it all away, Batman. That soft part, that pain. We're becoming one, you and me. I can feel how much you're hurting. Your mother, your friends.
Get out of my head!
No. Join me. Be my knight. Together we can beat them. Look at you. Spines that stab like a cholla cactus. Wings that splash like an ostrich. The will of a virus. Just breathe me in. And the stubbornness of a cockroach. All right then, I'll drag you into the light one way or another.
Then she attacks again, spearing spikes straight through Batman's torso. I'm not gonna lie, if that was me, the cape and cowl is getting retired immediately. Nah, bro. So while Batman is trapped in the vines, Ivy reveals something very important. She talks about Grim, you know, the absolute version of Joker, and how he imprisoned her in Arkham. Apparently, he's the reason she's trying to reshape the world. Her goal is to create a new kingdom of life powerful enough to stop him. And if that's true, Grim must have insane aura, bro. This man must be an absolute menace. Right after that, we cut to a conversation between Bruce and Jim Gordon, where Gordon straight up tells him that he knows he is Batman. The things I'm up against too. It feels like to win, I have to become something tougher, meaner. Something darker? Yeah, any advice from me? Nope, no way. I'm just an old man in love with your mom, son. But I'll give you the advice someone else gave me when I was in a similar situation to yours. Someone much smarter than me. Then Barbara shows back up to cut Bruce free, revealing Gordon was talking about her. And luckily she's not too mad about the whole Cliff thing. So as Batman grabs the sonic cannon gun, he aims it straight at Ivy, and at this point, she's done trying to convince bro. Bruce then fires that weapon and quickly realizes something. The only piece of humanity left in her is her heart. The same heart her mother once held. So Batman gives her an ultimatum. Stop the spores that would infect the entire city, or he destroys the heart. It wouldn't kill her, surprisingly, but it would erase the last connection she has to not only her humanity, but more importantly, her connection to her mother. What was Barbara's advice? When I became mayor, I was terrified, Bruce. I had my plan, my agenda, but suddenly the whole city was looking to me to do so much more, to be more. And the critics, they kept attacking me for being too soft, too local, too much of a people person. I was all torn up. Maybe to be a good mayor, I had to forget all the hippy dippy stuff your dad and mom and I loved and became something tougher, colder, meaner. One night, Babs, she was 16 at the time, studying for a biology test. She found me on the balcony in my robe, staring out at the city, and she said something to me. Ivy does climb, but it also clings. It holds on. Dr. Ivy, you don't want to lose that last piece of yourself, do you? She said, Dad, a tree grows tallest when you care for its roots. Destroy the spores, Dr. Isley, now!
All right.
You have good roots, son. I know you'll make the right choice when the time comes.
You fool! We could have saved everyone. Everything. Climbed so high, made it better. You've only doomed yourself. You're just small and terrestrial and weak and human.
Yes, I have been, but not anymore. Ivy agrees, but Bruce still pulls the trigger point blank. He then proceeds to crank that junk full power and blast her directly in the heart. And the wildest part is that a literal monster looks at Batman and calls him the monster.
I'll kill you, Batman. You monster!
She said to fight what's coming, I need to evolve. I just took her advice. Maybe we all should. At this point, it's clear. Absolute Batman is not trying to hold back anymore. He's also not trying to reconnect with his friends either. This man is on a mission. But that's pretty much it for me. Like, comment, and subscribe. And check out this next video if you're interested.